Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and a doctoral student of psychology. Today, we're going to go over some trends that I see with avoidance and who they tend to commit to. I'm going to break it up into three particular people, but often a person has all three of these, and they're just aspects. This does not mean if you don't fit this category that the avoidant will not commit to you. Absolutely not. I'm just saying that these are some of the people that I've noticed as a trend, and I feel like you guys might appreciate this video. A lot of you guys have been asking for more clarity about this, and so that's what I'm doing today. Before we jump in, one more disclaimer. I'm not saying to stay if you feel mistreated or you don't see change. This is just information. A lot of times you guys may take something I say and completely run with it, and I don't want you guys to do that because it can confuse you and make things more difficult on your end. You are the ultimate person who makes decisions. I don't make decisions for you, okay? You make those decisions. Watch what you want to watch, exit when you want to exit, okay? So let's go ahead and talk about the very first one, okay? This is the person that I feel that a lot of avoidants tend to commit to, one of the people. It is somebody who's able to manage their own emotions and tries to self-regulate. Doesn't have to be perfect, tries. Now, what does this mean and why is this helpful? When I mean manage your own emotions, I don't mean that you're completely emotionless, okay? You manage your own emotions. You can apologize when you misstepped. You can manage how you're feeling outside of a variable. When I mean that, if there's a lot of things going on in the day-to-day, you don't internalize it. Let's say, for example, you got fired. I hope not, but it happens, right? And you know it's a really difficult day. You got fired, and then you're driving home, and now you need to take gas. Your gas is low, and it's raining outside. It's a really difficult day, okay? And now when you finally come home, you're wet, you're fired. Now you feel like, what am I going to do? And instead of sitting around and, I don't know, crying, which you can, you take a moment to regulate. If you need to cry, if you need to take a shower, whatever you need to do to relax yourself, and then you brainstorm, what do I need to do next, right? You're able to manage your emotions. It doesn't mean you can't reach out and say, hey, to your partner. Let's say you have an avoidant boyfriend. You're telling him, I got fired, it was raining outside. I had to get gas. I had to wait. It was dark. I was scared. It was a really difficult day. And maybe you're crying on the phone. That's more power to you, but you're able to regulate yourself. You're able to not stick to this day in and day out every single day. You're talking about, I got fired. I feel stressed. I don't know what to do. You are able to have those emotions when they're needed and put them away when they're causing too much distress in your life. Because now what's the next step? You can think about, okay, I'm home. I can take this moment. It's kind of like my own mini unpaid vacation, and I'm going to look for jobs. I'm going to look at the bright side. I'm going to manage myself. I'm going to take this time to really find what I need to do. I'm going to calculate how much is in my savings, what I need to do, X, Y, and Z, what are my bills. And so you can manage that. Maybe you can apply for unemployment. And so you are able to manage what's going on in your life that needs to get done so that you can regulate yourself, but also going forward, you can pick up these skills to continue to do so. So that the next time, if you get fired, hopefully this is not somebody's case, but then you'll know what to do. You'll be able to be more managed. So you pick up skills as you're learning, okay? And why does this help avoidance? And why do avoidants commit to this person? It makes the avoidant feel like they don't have to manage your emotions because they're already struggling with managing their own. That's why they suppress it so badly. And if you're able to regulate your own emotions, they can feel that if they do try to manage your emotions and they mess up because they're not good at it, right? You're not going to get mad at them, or you're not going to lean on them or get angry at them. You're going to be able to manage yourself. And it helps them to not feel ashamed that they can't do what they want to do. They probably want to manage your emotions. For example, if this is the case, right, and the boyfriend is hearing this girlfriend, she got fired and she was, in the rain and she needed gas, and now she's home and she's crying and she's so upset. He wants to help her, but he probably has no idea what to say. But if she's able to regulate herself while she's still in this emotional surplus, he feels like he still did a good job. Does that make sense? It can also make them feel like they have room to express themselves without their partner reacting too negatively to which they don't know how to handle. And often avoidants get very overwhelmed with emotions. And so if you're able to manage your own emotions and keep them at a certain level, sometimes, right, they all fluctuate, but overall, the average, you're able to help your partner not feel overwhelmed by your emotions, if that makes sense, okay? The next one This one's hard. And so I'm not saying you guys always have to do this, but it does help. I've noticed this is a person who avoidants are able to commit to more easily, is somebody who doesn't take the avoidance triggers personally. I know it's tricky, right? It allows the avoidant to feel like they can express themselves and not have to be held to the certain standard, because avoidant individuals, when they are triggered, it looks less obvious to somebody who might not know attachment issues that well, right? Or they don't have as much experience from their own perspective. A person who's anxious, for example, I could be wrong, but I feel like most people can tell when they're triggered, because anxious people are really good at like verbalizing how they feel. I think, at least. Maybe not everyone agrees with me, but I think they're really good at their connection between their emotions, their thoughts, and their words. It may not look like it if they're like very tripping over their emotions, but still, they're really going to tell you. They're going to try their best to tell you exactly what they're feeling, even if it might come across a little overwhelming. Anxious people and fearful, but especially anxious, preoccupied, very clean at that type of expression. But avoidant individuals are not so good at that. Avoidant individuals might be sitting for months with a feeling or a thought, and they have no idea how to say it, or if it's to be said, or what it is truly. And I'm not making fun of avoidance. I used to be like that. It's definitely something that can be challenging. And so when they feel like their emotions are too much, their own emotions, they get triggered. And it comes out very strict and very blunt. Whereas an anxious person, when they're triggered, they can kind of express it. I feel like this because you weren't answering my text message, and it's so clear. And you made me feel like this, and you said this, so obvious. It's like listed almost. Whereas avoidants are like, they're feeling triggered and they might say like something that's not clear. Work was stressful, or they might not even say that. They may just say, just be quiet. I can't do this. I need to go over here. They didn't even tell you like anything. And that can be extremely confusing. But if a person who is more aware, which is not your job, but I'm just saying it can help, can say, okay, my partner is triggered. It's not me. They're triggered by something. They had a rough day at work, or they've been stuck about this thing. They're trying to fix their car for months and they don't know how to fix it. So that's why this is happening. It's not me, right? An anxious person, if they felt triggered, they would clearly say, I had a really hard day. You didn't pick up the phone. You didn't do this. My boss said this. So obvious, right? So it's like, okay, this person is obviously triggered or feeling a type of way. It might not even be triggered. They're hurt. I know what to do. An avoidant person, it's not that obvious, but a person who knows them well might understand that. And the last one is probably the most obvious. If you guys watch my channel, you probably know this one, but it's the person who's always been there. Avoidants are not really, they don't really love the concept of falling in love and meeting somebody in the honeymoon stage and all that. They're really more about the person who's there. I'm just comfortable with that. As long as we don't fight too much and they hear me out, I'm probably going to commit to them. Avoidants build trust very slowly, and that person who's always been there makes them feel appreciated because you were just there, right? They feel like they're not judged because you being there for so long makes them feel like you like them, you don't judge them, and you know their flaws and you're still there. That to an avoidant is very special. Again, I'm not saying to stay with someone who doesn't treat you right. I'm just telling you information, okay? I hope this video was helpful to somebody. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.